The now Star Wars Legends novel Shatterpoint gives us a ton of detail into Mace Windu, how he is feeling past the events of the Clone Wars breaking out on Geonosis, and how he holds himself solely responsible for all the death that is occurring around the galaxy. The novel goes a long way to humanize Mace Windu, and actually make a lot of his decisions in Revenge of the Sith make a lot more sense. It's clear that Mace Windu is severely troubled by Geonosis. This was the day that the Jedi became mortal. Every single Padawan, with the exception of Anakin Skywalker and Barriss Offee, was brutally gunned down that day. And according to Mace Windu, he could have stopped it all. Because of that, in some twisted way, he thinks that the Clone Wars is entirely on his shoulders. The novel clues us in on how Mace Windu somewhat even hates himself and the decision that he made, how he sensed a dangerous Shatterpoint that day on Geonosis and decided not to act on it. So greetings again, Acolytes of the Force, and welcome back to the archives. And today, let's analyze Mace Windu, his decision not to kill Dooku, his decision to kill Jango Fett, and why Mace Windu holds himself responsible for the Clone Wars, and hopefully by the end of this, his stance in Revenge of the Sith, and how brash he is to move against the Chancellor are more understandable. The novel Shatterpoint, as well as the Attack of the Clones novelization, gives us great detail into Mace Windu. We learn in Shatterpoint that he has dreams about Geonosis, nightmares if you will, that he dreams nearly every single night about his confrontation with Dooku. If he had said things in a different way, or acted in a different way, Mace Windu even believes that he can talk his way out of the situation if he analyzes the Shatterpoint perfectly, says the exact correct things to Dooku and Jango Fett. Somewhere deep inside, Mace Windu hopes that Dooku will lay down his blade and that the Separatist cause will end right there. Mace Windu also has separate scenarios in his dreams, where he murders Dooku instantly, with it later in the novel explained that Mace Windu always had a dangerous respect for Dooku, that there was a part of him that up until that very moment where Dooku decided to murder all of the Jedi, Mace Windu had a profound respect for Dooku, so much so that he believed that even if the Count had turned to the dark side, and even if he was responsible for the Separatist movement, that he could be saved. To Mace Windu, Dooku was once his greatest hero, somebody who was a master of the blade before Windu and after Yoda, somebody who Dooku respected perhaps more than any other Jedi in history. Perhaps even a part of Mace Windu respected Dooku for his ability to walk away from the Jedi and pursue what was right. In the novel for Revenge of the Sith, it is revealed that Mace Windu's greatest connection is to the Republic, that he loves the Republic more than anything, and that in Attack of the Clones, when Dooku sides with the Separatists, Mace Windu, out of all the Jedi, shockingly in contrast to the way that he treats Anakin, is the most understanding. To Mace Windu, he believes that Dooku loves the Separatists and is doing the right thing, the same way that Windu believes he is doing the right thing to protect the Republic. He empathizes with the individual that he still sees as a good man, and it isn't until after Geonosis that Mace Windu truly realizes what Dooku has transformed into. Mace Windu has the rare ability to tap into what is referred to as a Shatterpoint, perceive weaknesses, and more importantly, critical moments in the Force. Mace Windu can see weaknesses in objects and even people, but most importantly, moments in time. Windu receives a Shatterpoint in this moment when he holds his blade up to Dooku, and yet, he decides not to act on it out of respect. This is what the novel says. In my dreams, my blade doesn't light the underside of Fett's square jaw. I don't waste time with words. I don't hesitate. I believe. In my dreams, the purple flare of my blade sizzles the gray hairs of Dooku's beard. In the critical semi-second it takes Jango Fett to aim and fire, I twitch that blade and take Dooku with me into death, saving the galaxy from civil war. I could have done it. Windu goes on to reveal that in that moment he sensed a Shatterpoint between Dooku and Jango Fett, and decides not to act upon it, but thinking about it in hindsight, just how critical this relationship is, and the impact that it will have on the galaxy. Jango Fett's clones have been placed with inhibitor chips that are solely loyal to the plan of the Sith. Dooku is aware of this, and Jango Fett is his greatest weapon. It is a weapon that has integrated into the very heart of the Republic, and had Mace Windu decided to kill Dooku there, the events of galactic history would have shifted. But one thing here holds firm, and Mace Windu senses a Shatterpoint in a deep sense within Jango Fett, one that causes him to act out of pure instinct later in the Battle of Geonosis, and kill what many have deemed to be an unarmed threat. This is what Windu senses out of Jango. Jango Fett bristles with weapons, an instinctive killer, the deadliest man in the galaxy. Jango can kill me in less than a second. I know it. Even if I had never seen Kenobi's report from Kamino, I can feel the violence Jango radiates in the Force, a pulsar of death. In the arena battle, when Mace Windu and Jango Fett finally come face to face, Windu does not need to be aware of the Jedi that Jango Fett has butchered over his lifetime. Jedi that he has murdered with his flamethrower, his blasters, and even his bare hands. Dooku was aware of all of this. This is why Jango Fett had been selected for the clone template, to ensure that the clones would be the greatest Jedi killers that the galaxy had ever seen. But all of this meant nothing to Mace Windu. He was unaware of Jango Fett's history, but he was aware of the Shatterpoint that he held, and his appearance in the Force itself, a pulsar of death. The Attack of the Clone novelization says this, as Mace Windu enters into a sort of trance-like state, and then it happened. All of a sudden, Mace Windu started to slash to the left, cut it short, and stabbed straight out, then reversed his grip and sent the lightsaber slashing across, left to right. He spun a complete circuit, coming around to parry a blaster shot, but there was no shot forthcoming. That left to right reversal had cleanly landed. Jango Fett's head flew free of his shoulders and fell out of his helmet to settle in the dirt. The novelization cues us in here that Windu is so entranced in this moment, a warrior facing down another warrior pulsating of death in the Force, that in this trance-like state, Mace Windu goes full on offensive. So much so that at the end of his blade sequence actually has a parry from a blaster bolt that will never come. Mace Windu doesn't even intentionally remove Jango Fett's head from his shoulders. It is this state. It is Vapad. It is drawing off the very darkness that exudes from Fett, that Mace Windu falls into Vapad, and the form does the rest. It removes Jango Fett from the equation. In the film, you can see that Mace Windu is disgusted, saddened that he had to butcher this man in front of his son, a man that was so dangerous that unfortunately he needed to die. And Mace Windu had to be the exactor of the Force's will. If you watch in the film, you can see that Dooku is quite surprised by this. Jango Fett was one of the greatest warriors the galaxy has ever seen, and was without a doubt the most skilled Jedi killer of that entire era. As a Jedi, Dooku had personally seen with his own two eyes Fett murder Jedi, those that could touch the Force, and yet Jango did so out of pure will and strategic intellect. He murdered those that could touch this great gift. To see a warrior of Jango Fett's prowess taken out so swiftly by Windu was absolutely a shock to Dooku's system. Mace Windu's greatest regret that day is that he did not turn his lightsaber against Dooku out of respect, but at the same time, in that very moment, he promised to never make that mistake again. He murdered Jango Fett when he sensed the darkness coming out of him without hesitation, purely giving himself over to instinct and Vapad. And later, when he sensed a deadly Shatterpoint with Palpatine and Anakin, he moved on the Chancellor immediately, resolving not to make the same mistake that he did on Geonosis, and yet, unfortunately, made another mistake altogether. Mace Windu is a far more tragic character than many of us have given him credit for. He's complex, and he sees his mistakes. He holds himself accountable, almost too much so. He believes the Clone Wars rest straight on his shoulders, when in truth, it were many mistakes that allowed them to occur. But anyway, my friends, I hope this video helps shine a more sympathetic light on Jedi Master Windu, his thoughts, emotions, and Shatterpoint sensing that fateful day on Geonosis. But now, my friends, are your thoughts on Mace Windu altered and changed? And what do you think would have happened if he had trusted the Shatterpoint between Jango and Dooku? Thank you so much, my friends, for visiting the channel today, and may the Force be with you.